is nationalism? Today, I'm going to be showing you a video to help you understand what nationalism is. I'm going to be taking two people that I interviewed not so long ago and see their reactions.
How does an understanding of nationalism help us understand today? How does it affect you?
Hello, my name is Indy.
And I'm Erin.
Today, we will be telling you about the concept known as nationalism. We have decided to give you some examples of nationalism, the first one being nationalism in Germany. No, not World War II. Germany was a nation formed off of nationalism, led by a man named Otto von Bismarck. He directed people who spoke German from Europe, mainly Prussia, gathered them all, and then turned them into a nation. He aligned and used Prussia, a European empire/country at the time, France, Austria, and many other countries, to bring Germans together. He did this by orchestrating a number of wars that cost lives just to develop a new nation. And even after that nation was born, he made it thrive. Otto von Bismarck was not an inspiring, amazing, genius man, but he is important to history. The nationalism in Germany formed it and brought it to life, and then almost 100 years later made it fall apart. But Germany needed nationalism to start off, and even today, like most countries, still has nationalism.
For our second example, we will be using the Indian Act. The Indian Act was something that happened between the government and the First Nations in Canada. In 1871, the government started negotiating treaties. The treaties were small reserves where the First Nations would live, and on the treaties they were allowed to fish and hunt. In 1884, the Canadian government banned potlatches. Potlatches were a gift-giving ceremony by the Indigenous people. If they were caught having a potlatch, then they would be put in jail for 2 to 6 months. Potlatches weren't allowed again until 1951.
9.5.
Okay.
I would say 9.
In 1831, the Canadian government started forcing First Nation kids to go to residential schools. Kids as young as 4 were taken away from their home for the year and sent to these schools. At the schools, the children got into trouble if they spoke their language or practiced their cultural beliefs. They usually weren't fed enough food and were sometimes punished severely. Nationalism was shown through belief and ethnicity. Today we show nationalism by learning and respecting their culture. Understanding of the past helps us understand today. Nationalism, the feeling of belonging to a nation. Some factors that tie into nationalism are linguistic, political, ethnic, geography, religious, spiritual, and cultural. All of our examples from the past show these in different ways. Looking around today, articles on the news, you'll see there is always going to be some form of nationalism tied into our stories.
Now that we've learned how the past, present, and future use nationalism in multiple ways, it really affects you no matter where you are. Nationalism is a part of the foundation of the earth. Whether it's good or bad, that's up for debate, but it's definitely always been present. Thank you for listening to this explanation of why nationalism is important today and in history.
I think that nationalism means that you're proud of your country and that you look at the interests of the country and want to ensure that they're advocated.
Well, to me, nationalism is putting your nation or your nation's beliefs, whether it be about race or culture, but putting that above other nations, even to the detriment of others.
Now here, what do you guys know about the concept of nationalism?
Well, a lot more now. To me, I guess before I was probably confusing nationalism and patriotism a little bit. more, but going by your descriptions there, yeah, I have a much better understanding.
And I think I do too. I think I was looking at the positives, and now I think it's important to look at both positive and negatives that can be contributed or attributed to nationalism.
Thank you for watching this video about nationalism. I hope you learned something along with my parents. The link to the interview and the original video is in the description below.